Yeah. Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes today, hitting dingers, getting listeners back. It's been a good week with the first week of the podcast. I want to thank everyone who's come out to take a listen. We're going to continue the magic. Today's episode is going to be a little more controversial. It's something that I personally am I'm going to advocate for, and people may disagree, may dislike me, but I'm going to just throw out my opinion on it and see where we go from here. So, as you can read by the title, I'm going to talk about Trevor Bauer today. We're going to cover some other news and notes, but mainly we are going to talk about Mr. Bauer. And I'm going to leave this this is going to be open-ended, though. I'm going to leave it for debate. You can try and convince me otherwise in the comments. But I'm going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about SeatGeek. SeatGeek code is Miller Park Minute. Use it for any event that you're going to: concerts, baseball games, football games. If you're going to see the Packers and the Lions, use that code. Get $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek at SeatGeek.com. All right, that being said, as you know, this is a daily show, uploads every day at 5:30 a.m. So I am recording this Friday evening on the wake of the Trevor Bauer news. And I'm just going to put this out there. First, I want to cover some things that are not related to Trevor Bauer, and then we'll go into the Trevor Bauer situation. So first and foremost, I want to say a thank God for the status of Damar Hamlin. It sounds like he made a FaceTime call to his teammates today, and yeah, everything looks good there. He's got the breathing tube out and everything like that, so he's neurologically okay. He's been able to communicate, and he seems to be all right. There's obviously probably a lot more to be cleared, but that was a really good news thing and good thing to hear today, as reported by Ian Rappaport. So very awesome to hear. Now, the other big topic with the MLB right now is Carlos Correa. So we haven't had any updates on the Carlos Correa front today. We just know that he is in talks with another club, or I should say Scott Boras is in talks with another club about him. I don't know when this situation is going to end. We don't seem to have a resolution at this juncture. But we'll keep pushing forward. So obviously, with free agency near its end, most of the big it says I don't know if this is a story, but it says the Mets are considering walking away, which at this juncture, I don't blame them. I mean, it's a lot of money to commit to a player that the health is uncertain. At least 5 teams interested in. I'll bite. They give you clickbaity. Oh, Reynolds is there's about 5 teams interested in Brian Reynolds. He wants out of Pittsburgh. He's angry. I get it. It's because the ownership in Pittsburgh is worse than the ownership in Milwaukee, and they just have no commitment to want to change things. So, all right. I'm going to preface my statements here and say that in no means am I justifying or saying that Trevor Bauer is his habits or whatever he's into outside of the world of baseball is a great and wonderful thing. I'm not condoning any of that behavior or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, the guy might be into kinky sex, whatever. That being said, we'll leave that part of this aside, and we'll just talk about Trevor Bauer, the player. I hope you guys can understand and stay with me on the fact of Trevor Bauer, the player. That being said, so I don't know if you guys are aware, the Hosmer deal that Hosmer just signed with the Cubs, he's being paid league minimum because he's already being paid a salary. I believe it's like $39 million or $38 million that he's owed from the Padres contract that he signed before he got released, traded, whatever you want to call it. I think it was released. He was outrightly released, I think. But anyway, so that being said, he's being paid league minimum $720,000, uh, which is really awesome because that creates an opportunity for a club to sign him and kind of almost rent him in a way, because you're paying what you're paying a minor leaguer, or a guy that's freshly called up. Not, you know, this is like what you get somebody at base level when they're a prospect and they're a rookie deal. So that's a really good deal. Now that's the same situation with Bauer. Bauer is being paid 22.5 million, I believe. 22.5. I just had it up. So that would mean he would be under the same type of contract. Yeah, it's 22.5 million that he's going to be paid. The Los Angeles Dodgers are already taking that part of it. So basically they're paying you to have a player on your squad, on your team, 22.5 mil, and you have to pay them 720. So it's really a good deal for that team that's going to sign him. Now, that being said, allegations, everything aside, let's not talk about that because we don't want to get into that rabbit hole here on this podcast. But we're going to talk about Trevor Bauer, the player. Now you're saying, well, wait a second, Eric, he hasn't played or he's not going to be able to play for 50 games. Yes, I'm well aware of that. But you pay these younger players similar price. So that is a little back burner to me. I don't think that's a big deal. Now, we talked yesterday about the pitching. We talked about all of our starting pitching and the slew of overstock, as everyone calls it. But what you get in a deal that isn't going to cost you a lot, what you're getting is a guy that basically is going to, whatever team he's going to, he's going to treat this as an audition. Trevor Bauer's obsession and his arrogance. Now, where people, let's first finish that thought. Trevor Bauer's obsession with being the best is seen. If you follow the guy on YouTube and you watch his videos, yes, you can watch his arrogance. I get he's very arrogant as a player, but that's part of who he is and his personality. He wants to be the best. He trains very hard. He has some unique training methods. Freddie Peralta actually fashioned his, I want to say it was his curveball or something from Trevor Bauer a couple of years back. Now, obviously, that was said before all the things that happened with Trevor Bauer. So he's obsessed with that, and his arrogance is his antics on the field, and he doesn't have the clubhouse personality. But right now, we have kind of taken away that clubhouse vibe. And if you could build with, I mean, Jesse Winker doesn't have a good reputation at this juncture. If you could build with a guy like Jesse Winker, and you could build with a guy like Trevor Bauer, that would say something to your team's longevity and who you've got as players. Now, okay, again, we're gonna cover you already have too many pitchers. I get it. You have too many starters. Now, this would maybe give you the opportunity to maybe make that deal. And I hate to say this, you don't want to make that deal with Corbin Burns, but maybe you want to make a deal with Eric Lauer and say Hauser. You could still do a lot of things. And major league ball clubs are known to do this. They're known to load up on pitching. They're known to make different moves like this. Career WAR, Trevor Bauer's WAR is 21 flat. So he's got an 83 and 69 record with a 3.79 ERA. Oh no. I don't know if I'm still recording. Hold on. Refresh. All right. stream. Okay, so I don't know where I got cut off of the stream there, but what I'm saying is Trevor Bauer's stats, and this is kind of an opportunity for, I think, the Brewers to build. I mean, you've already got one problem child in Jesse Winker from what we've heard about him from Seattle. So I think he would be a nice add in the numbers stature. The guy's obsessed with getting better. Some of his numbers, he's got 21 career WAR, 83 wins and 69 losses, 3.79 ERA, 1,400 strikeouts. He's pitched 1,297 innings. He's got a save. So meat and potatoes, the guy's been working nonstop since he's not been in baseball because this is his obsession, his life goal. If you've watched, it really goes to watching Trevor Bauer's YouTube and his vlogs. And I like this guy because he goes into the ins and outs of baseball. He's a personality. He's one of these guys that wants to make the game better and wants to, yes, you can say spider tack and all that. That's the argument I get from my good buddy the Butcher every time I mention him. He's a Cy Young. He's won the ERA title. He's an all-star. He's been a problem child. I get it. I'm not defending his problem child attitude. I think that's just the arrogance of who he is and why he wants to be better. You know, he doesn't get along with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's notorious for not wanting to get along with people. I mean, egos aside, if we could put a guy like that whose last major league season was Cy Young caliber and MVP caliber, I think hands down you're looking at a great situation for our team. And he does do things that are out of the ordinary that our players could learn off of, our players could grow off of. And I think you want that exposure. And the reason I say this is because you want this exposure for Small. And I think Miley's going to add that too. Small and Ashby and Peralta and Burns and Woodruff, they're all going to grow. If they could grow as a unit with these guys, and even Lauer. I mean, Lauer's a young guy yet too. I told you the collective ages of our pitchers. I think only Woodruff is going to be 30 years old. So, and Bauer is only 31. So, I mean, he's still young yet too. Now, like I said, this would be a rental basis. You're going to pay him league minimum. So it's like a zero risk move. He could really screw things up, or he could make strides and actually adapt to a clubhouse. And I think this guy's on a going to be kind of on an apology tour almost. He's going to try and garner some good things. He's going to do more good than bad. This kid works with high school kids. He really cares about pitching and training to pitch. He has a whole company where he does media, and he wants baseball, and he wants to have that personality. And yeah, so I personally, I really like the idea. I like the concept. I know we're loaded, so it might not even be something we look at. This podcast could be totally me just spinning my rounds and spinning my wheels. But if it happens, guys, you're going to look back and be like, well, Eric did have a point there. And that's the truth. So that being said, that's really the meat and potatoes of it. I mean, you're looking at a guy that's obsessed with betterment and self-betterment and improving himself as a person. And why wouldn't you want that as a professional, as a player? And maybe we could build a vibe and build something. My cat's in here. Hi, kitty. We could build something better. And I don't know. I guess I don't think it hurts. I'm gonna get so much hate and so much disrespect on this. And I know. I mean, I get it. You guys are gonna come at me for this one. I'm well aware of what's gonna happen after I press save on this podcast. So that being said, we're gonna move on to one more item here and cover any other Brewers notes or anything that I can cover. We're still going to come at you with a pitcher breakdown via Rob. Rob's got his, or I'm sorry, Butcher. Butcher's got his pitcher's breakdown coming. What if Correa goes back to the Twins? That'd be amazing. Or Correa is forced to do a one year deal. Okay, so here's the statement. Before I finish, and just so you, I'm going to go back on my defensive podium for a minute. Just so you know, a court of law did not find Trevor Bauer guilty. So the court of MLB law has found him guilty. So the Dodgers announced Friday that they have designated for assignment right-handed pitcher Trevor Bauer, who just finished serving a 194 game suspension for violating the MLB/MLB PA joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy. The Dodgers organization believes that the allegations of sexual assault and domestic violence should thoroughly be investigated with due process given to the accused. The Dodgers wrote a statement. From the beginning, we have fully cooperated with Major League Baseball's investigation, strictly followed the process stipulated under MLB's joint domestic policy. Two extensive reviews of all the available evidence in the case, by Commissioner Rob Manfred's, and another's being a neutral arbiter, concluded that Mr. Bauer's actions warranted the longest ever active player suspension for our sport. This policy. Now that this process has been completed, after careful consideration, we have decided that he will no longer be a part of our organization. Independent arbitrator Martin, whatever. So basically, he's eligible for immediate reinstatement. He had missed 243 games, and between his time on administrative leaves and the 144 games he served under the suspension in 2022. So basically, yeah, this is kind of the stuff I covered. This was to be his final season, where he was going to be paid $22.5 million. He will turn 32 this month. So that's their statement. He was not found guilty by a court of law. I'm just going to say that the court of the land did not find him guilty. And they came after him on multiple fronts. So at that juncture, let it rest. Now, to finish off this episode, we have our friend Adam McKelvey put together an article, a story, and this is going to be something that I'm going to talk to that I think is kind of weird. Notice how there wasn't a Contreras press conference yet? I think that's very strange. Okay, so if you've seen this in the background of any of my videos, I'm going to move out of the way. Oh, no, I got to go this way. There's a cat toy down over there, and my cat is literally playing with it sideways. Hold on, Corbin. My cat is named Corbin after Corbin Burns, and my other cat is named Hader after Josh Hader. There you go, bud. Oh, he left. So, anyways, yeah. What was I saying? Oh, they haven't done a press conference for Contreras yet, which I find very weird. Now, Contreras tweeted some broken hearts and stuff like that. I don't know what his feelings are on going to the Brewers. I would love to chat with him, but it's going to be very, very hard to pull off. We'll see what I can do for players this season. But yeah, so there hasn't been much talk of that. I find that a little odd and a little strange at this juncture, considering that was done in December. But anyways, so Adam McKelvey sat down with Bryce Wilson. And he has 3 priorities for the rest of the winter. 1, continue to hone the splitter that became part of his pedigree last season. The Brewers pitching lab can help with that. 2, rediscover some zip on his 4-seam fastball. 3, most importantly, be a dad. So he's a dad. Oh, that's sweet. That adds fuel to the fire to be the best that I can be, said Wilson, whose son Levi was born 1 month ago Friday. Oh, so he's a new dad. As for the pitching repertoire, reclaiming his once dominant fastball is key to Wilson's getting back to on the track that lifted him as high as number 82 on the MLB's top 100 prospects list. I had it in years past, but didn't really have it last year, Wilson said. That's a lot of mobility stuff, working on the shoulder and the hip separation. Wilson ranked as high as 60 on Baseball Prospectus' top 100 list in 2020. As a 22-year-old, he outpitched Clayton Kershaw in an emergency start for the Braves in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. Wilson delivered 6 innings with 1 hit and 1 run allowed in Atlanta's win. But the four-seamer has become less and less part of Wilson's arsenal as the average velocity dropped from 94.5 when he made his MLB debut in 2018 to 94.7 or 94.9 to 94.7 miles per hour in 19, 94.1 in 20, 93 in 21, 92 in 92. Yeah, so 2022 is 92.7 when the first time it wasn't his primary pitch. He will come to camp as a starter. Wilson said he had a conversation with the Brewers senior vice president of personnel, Carl Mueller, pitching coach Chris Hook, who told him to come to spring ready to compete for a spot in the rotation. Now, that's something I think they tell everybody. That's a deep field at this point, led by incumbent sextet of Corbin. Oh, sextet. That's like 6. I was like, what is that word? Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, Eric Lauer, Aaron Ashby, and Adrian Hauser, plus hopeful Ethan Small, Jason Alexander, off-season acquisition Jason Junk, and assuming no red flags in the physical, Wade Miley. It sounds like too many cooks in the kitchen, but remember Alexander made 11 starts last season. Depth is a good thing. Though the fact that Wilson is out of options means the Brewers cannot easily stash him in the minor leagues. Ooh, I did not know that. That makes me a little more nervous. Whatever happens throughout spring and going into the season, I will be prepared, he said. He has good genes. Wilson's younger brother, Peyton, is a linebacker for NC State, who was the first team All-ACC in 2020. Went into 21 preseason watch for the Chuck Bernard Award. I don't know college football, sorry. The brothers share some adversity in common. Peyton, because of injuries, and Bryce, as struggles to find a foothold in the majors. They've talked about dealing with the challenges. Toward the end of the season, I really kind of figured out who I was and who I wanted to be as a pitcher. I strung together a pretty good string of starts toward the end of the season last year, 4.39 ERA after July 1st. The biggest thing I've learned is a game of adjustments and about being consistent throughout those adjustments. I feel like I'm at the point where I fully grasp and understand it, and I can get even better. His brother is hoping for a good year of his own. Bryce and Peyton intend to play another season at NC State, declaring for the NFL draft. Okay, so what that says to me is this guy's got to pitch his butt off to become a Brewer. That's good. I mean, either he gets really good or he gets let go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, did we waste money at that point? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, baseball is sometimes a gamble, and I think that's the gamble that the Brewers chose to make on that. So Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to talk about this thing that that I did not really like think too thoroughly about yesterday. But this thing is they're pressing the heck out of this hot stove and cold brews thing. This is gonna have to be set up like a block party. There's no other way. I should reach out to Dugout 54's owner, and I have his business card somewhere. I should reach out to him and just see. But I don't know, guys. I like I said, this is just me being honest with you. I know you're gonna berate me. You're gonna think I'm nuts. You think I'm crazy because I think Trevor Bauer is maybe not as bad of an option as it seems. But give him this opportunity to rebuild. Pay him nothing. This gives him a chance to rebuild his career, reclaim his career. And this isn't like anybody we've ever tried to let reclaim their career. I don't know if you remember, we signed Jabba Chamberlain, Dontrell Willis, uh, all those guys didn't make it out of the minors and camp and stuff like that. Giovanni Gallardo had to come back with us. I mean, we can let it happen. There's place to experiment. I mean, for a team that lost a starter for the best majority of the season, I don't think it hurts. So, if you'd like to have a great debate with me, I will be live later this evening, 3 or 4 o'clock. I can't guarantee the time. Maybe 4:30. No, maybe 4. I don't know. I'll announce it on Facebook and also in the YouTube. So remember to check YouTube. Watch the YouTube videos. You can watch the or listen on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm going to be. That's where you hear me talking into this microphone all the time. It's been a fun week. Tomorrow we're going to do a recap episode for the Sunday episode. So we'll do a recap once a week. Talk about things that we learned. That's also where I'll be doing any corrections or clarifying any statements or any things that I made. So if you want to add anything to that, let me know. Or think that there's anything I missed on and you would like me to further clarify, let me know. It's been a fun ride so far. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad that you're listening. I think this is what Milwaukee baseball needs. I think it needs a guy like me, and I think it needs a couple other guys. I mean, I've listened to a couple podcasts this week, and there's been some fun things mentioned. There was talks about Craig Counsell's in his final year, and are they working on an extension? I think yes, they are. I think they will extend him, and I don't think there's another option for us in Milwaukee as a manager. He's been the winningest manager. He's a Milwaukee guy. I mean, he check the box, check the box, check the box. That was, I don't know what that motion was. But yesterday I did get blasted on monetization for having game 163 in the background. So I got to watch myself with all of this. I did get a hold of Bart Winkler. Bart Winkler is probably going to be on next week. And we also might have another special guest. And Butcher's segment is coming back on Wednesday of next week as well. So look forward to that, guys. That's all I got for you. Thanks again for watching. Go Brewers, and we'll catch you in the next one. Sorry. What? This has been the Miller Park Minute Podcast with Eric Agnew. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Go Brewers.